Hola a todos, bienvenidos a Cafecito con Masha en esta tarde calurosa, al menos aquí en México. Bienvenidos a todos, espero que estén muy bien. Seguramente algunos de ustedes se dieron cuenta del cambio de horario. Estuvimos corriendo un poco, pero bueno, el problema se resolvió de inmediato. Pudimos avisarles a tiempo del cambio de horario de la entrevista. Así que no pasó nada, aquí nadie vio y todos estamos aquí. Me da gusto ver que sí se hayan enterado de este cambio de horario, y a los que no, una disculpa. De todas formas, recuerden que este video se quedará grabado en el canal para que lo puedan ver las veces que quieran. Así que bueno, pues bienvenidos nuevamente. Tenemos una gran entrevista el día de hoy y además estamos en una gran semana porque justamente el día de hoy empieza el Campeonato Mundial de Patinaje y seguramente todos están igual de emocionados que yo. Seguramente nadie va a dormir esta semana porque las transmisiones para Latinoamérica, bueno, pues son bastante tarde. Así que, bueno, en la madrugada más bien. Así que estaremos muy cansados esta semana, pero muy contentos porque es el momento que llevábamos esperando por tanto tiempo. Por favor, si no se han suscrito a mi canal, háganlo en este momento, aquí en el botoncito de abajo, y síganme en todas mis redes sociales para que se enteren de todas las entrevistas que estaré teniendo. A pesar de ser semana de Campeonato Mundial, seguimos teniendo entrevistas. Nos tomaremos un pequeño break de 2 semanas de entrevistas por las vacaciones de Semana Santa y de Pascua, pero fuera de eso, acá seguimos con entrevistas de patinaje, con entrevistas de rumbo a Tokio. Así que acá seguimos. Por favor, síganme en mis redes para que se enteren absolutamente de todo. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Cafecito con Masha. We have another amazing week full of interviews. Maybe you're as excited as I am because today the World Championship starts. So this is the moment we have all been waiting for more than a year. I could say 1 year, but not because last World Championships were canceled, so maybe 2 years waiting for this moment. These championships are going to be amazing, so maybe we will not sleep because the streamings are at different time zones, so it's going to be good. We will be very tired, but very happy. So maybe some of you heard about the time change for the interview. Well, this was a little mistake by me because I couldn't find the correct time. So I'm glad that you guys are here because, you know, this happens at live streamings. So welcome. And for those who didn't know about the change and will join us in 1 hour, don't worry. You know that these interviews stay as a video in my channel, so it doesn't matter. So even though it's the World Championships week, I will still be having interviews like today. We will have another skater later this week. And after that, I will take a break, a 2-week break, because we have vacation here. You know, Holy Week and Easter, and also 2-week vacation, and then back to the figure skating interviews and also the Road to Tokyo interviews. So guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do it in the bottom below, and also follow me on my social media so you can learn about these amazing interviews I have been doing. And of course, I want to introduce our guest for today. I'm very happy to have him here. I admire this skater so much. So welcome, Camden Pulkinen. How are you, Camden?
Hey everyone, having me. I'm doing well. Happy to be healthy and still training, and just doing well. Happy to be here.
It's amazing. I mean, of course, it has been a crazy year. Well, it was tough on you guys because it's not like regular people who can just stay home and do nothing. You skaters, every athlete actually in the world has to train. So it's so difficult for you guys to stay still. So you guys were doing like whatever you could to stay in shape until you could go back on the ice. So how was that year for you?
The year in general, I think it was different, of course, but regardless, just happy to be healthy and happy to have the opportunity to skate. I think this whole year has really just been a year of realization and finding my reason for skating, my passion, and although the world is not in a great place, I for me, it was necessary to get back in touch with why I skate and be comfortable with not having skating and appreciate it more because for all we know, it could be gone again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it that was the silver lining, although it still was very tough.
I know, but you're totally right. I mean, so many skaters have told me the same thing that now you appreciate more your sport because you never know what's going to happen. We never thought it could be possible to stay away from competitions or sport or life in general for a whole year, and who knows how longer. So it's been crazy.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning. I would like to know your story. How did you start to get into figure skating?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story. One day my mom had to use the restroom while we were driving home, and she ice rink and knew there were restrooms in there, so we stopped by, and then she saw us skating and decided to sign my sister and I up for learn to skate here. And next thing you know, I'm here. I'm skating still 16 years later.
I think that's the funniest story I've heard. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I think she'd get mad for me about saying that, but I think it's more of a story than just like, oh, my siblings skated and I started
Yeah.
skating because of that. It's a little more non-traditional and unique, so I like sharing
Oh
that
yeah,
story.
totally. That's original. I like it. Now I will remember forever this. So,
Yeah,
what would you
forever.
say is the favorite feeling when you go into the ice?
So I think for me, the favorite feeling doesn't come every day. Every day, of course, I love jumping, I love skating fast, I love spinning. I love all those things, but for me, my favorite feeling whenever I'm on the ice is when I'm competing, and I think all athletes know this feeling when they're skating really well, and it feels like time is just flying by, and it feels like it's an amazing feeling when you're seeing a great program and you're so in tune with the music and your emotions are just out there and everything is just you feel like your body, your personality, who you are is encompassing the entire arena, not just within your body. So that feeling where I can kind of extend outside of myself on the ice during competition is something that I love and I look forward to when I have the opportunity to do it again.
You know, I feel you. I understand that feeling, and it's so beautiful when you connect with the audience. It's like everybody's inside of you. I don't know. It's something really special. So
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. So fast forwarding to 2018, you became a junior national champion. So I know that in the U.S., becoming a national champion is like a huge deal. So what did that mean to you?
For me, it honestly feels so long ago now, but um, I remember this performance, and I just, I remember that whole week I was really stressed because I had just come back from second place at the Junior Grand Prix final, and I felt like I was in a good position to win this championships, but of course I still had my doubts a little bit. So it was one of those that was like, okay, I can do this. I can become junior national champion, and I did. And translating that later, it gives me hope that I can hopefully make the Olympics one day and have greater success than just being junior national champion. So this was one of those I was like, okay, I can do it, and my confidence went up. So I loved that nationals. It was really cool skating in San Jose, and it was Olympic year for the seniors. So
Yeah.
although I was a junior, I was really blessed to be able to watch the seniors compete and see their stress about it and see how they handled that pressure. So I still think back to that moment, and next year when I compete for an Olympic spot, I can kind of think back to this and think back to watching them and seeing how they dealt with it and seeing that magic on the ice that happens where one person skates clean and then the next person skates clean and over and over. So that's what was the biggest takeaway for this competition.
Yeah, I get it. I can imagine that in Olympic year, it must be pretty exciting to be in the nationals.
Yeah. I think I've never actually competed in an Olympic year because that was the last Olympic year. So
Yeah.
I'm I'm excited to see how different it is this year, and excited to learn from it.
I
That's the
think it's
biggest
going
thing.
to be pretty amazing because there are so many great skaters in the US. So, oh my God, I just love them. You guys rock, and
Yeah.
watching the US Nationals is like one of the best events to watch.
Uh, well, thank you from a US skater.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And one year later in 2019, you competed at your first senior nationals. And after that, I think you placed, what was it? I think, well, it doesn't matter. But after that, you were named to
I don't
compete.
remember.
Well, yeah, that wasn't the point, but okay, it was your first nationals in senior, and then you were named to compete again on the junior worlds. Not again, but well, okay, yeah, the junior worlds. So in
Yeah.
those junior worlds, you placed first in the short program, which was huge, and then you placed ninth on the free program. So what did happen there?
That whole season, I was really good short programs. I think I set my world record over and over again. I kept beating it that season. So it was a really great short program. And obviously it was great because I ended up in first place and I was really thankful for it. But I was just really nervous on this competition. And in general for the free program, I was continually nervous. I think in my mind, I was not skating just to skate. I was skating to keep the first place spot to win. And I think this biggest season was just learning that I can never skate to win. You can never skate to win.
Yeah.
Of course, you may win the event, but that's not the goal. The goal is to just have fun and go out there and feel those feelings that you feel on the ice when your body, your personality and emotion extend past yourself and into the audience. And the whole time it was just stress and fighting for the title. So if there's one thing that I learned from this whole season, and one thing I hope anyone can learn, is that when you skate, you don't skate for titles. You don't skate for a championship. You just skate because you love it, and you skate your program because you want to express those emotions. And of course, there's going to be thoughts of winning, thoughts of being on the podium, etc. But regardless, while you do those 4 minutes, it's just your time to skate and your time to express yourself. And then if you win, you win. If you end up on the podium, you end up on the podium. But if you don't, you don't. That's out of your hands. So
Yeah.
really that's what happened. Was I was trying to win and trying to keep my title from the short. So
So
it
it's
was tough.
kind of like the title from the short program got you a little bit distracted.
hmm
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think I would have had, I don't know, but I'm thinking if I was in second or third, then I would have skated a little differently. I think I would have skated a little better. So that's what I think, but it was a learning lesson. And juniors is all about learning. That's what the whole point of junior competitions are. You learn so that you don't have those errors in senior.
yeah, of course. And it happens, sometimes when you kind of win or you feel like you won already, you get the focus out of where it should be. So it's like, okay, I got it. And now your brain is everywhere else. So sometimes when you have like a bad short program, you get more focused and do a better job on the free skate. So I know, but well, you just work on your mind to be stronger in the brain, and that's it. I mean,
Yep.
because you have the jumps, so it's just here, kind of. So, in your first competition, like complete senior season, you made your Grand Prix debut on the Skate Canada competition. And it was a great competition for you because in the short program you placed second, and then in the free skate you placed fourth, and you beat your personal best. And we saw some quads, so you did a great job. I mean, was that hard for you? Was that like, I mean, hard like physically, mentally? What did that mean to you, that achievement?
Yeah. So actually, the funny thing is on that short program where I placed second, before I go into my Let's Toe, and you'll probably see it in a bit here, but before I do the Let's Toe, I like wipe my nose. But I knew I was skating really well. So I was like, okay, I don't care if you spew blood all over. You do this Let's Toe because you're skating really well. So keep it up. Do not let it go. And I was really happy that I did that Let's Toe and ended up skating clean, because I think that was a big mental hurdle for me in the program, was just thinking about, oh, I just have a bloody nose here. I have to see, look, I wipe my nose right here,
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
right there. Yeah, I saw that. So was it bad? Like really bad?
um, it was a little bit bad, but not too bad. It was just, and then if you look at the end when I smile, there's a little bit of blood above my lip. They should zoom in here, I think.
Oh,
They,
it's
oh wait, okay, there's the free, but there's a little bit of blood above my lip
oh
because it
my,
was coming out a little bit. But so that was the cool thing about the short. Obviously, in a grander scale, is that I was just happy that I kind of skated how I know I can. And maybe it's because I had a little bit of something to prove from my last junior worlds, where I kind of made those errors in the free.
hmm.
So maybe that's what was going through my head. I don't know exactly. But I trained really hard for this, and a little bit because I was competing with Hanyu, and
Yeah.
I really wanted to impress, I think, and make a splash. So overall, I was just really happy. I think that anytime someone goes up a level, especially to senior, you feel a little bit out of place.
Yeah.
And I was happy that with this debut, I actually felt like I fit in. I felt like I belonged. And that's the coolest thing, is going into a new level and not feeling like an outsider. So that's what really I think was the takeaway from that competition, is like, okay, I can contend with these guys. I'm not the junior. I'm a senior, and I'm here to make a statement and to make a debut. So
Wow.
that's how I felt next season, for the rest of the season.
But that's tough. I mean, like you said, I haven't thought of that before, but it's true. I mean, when you go from junior to senior and you face Hanyu on your first competition, you must be tough. That's like really hard pressure.
And I remember, so actually in the short and the free program, when we drew, he was after me both times, so I knew he was watching.
Oh, just
And I assume that's better than skating after him, where there's the raining Pooh
oh yeah.
Bears. But regardless, it's kind of cool to have someone that I looked up to, and someone I always will look up to for his prowess and his power and just everything he's accomplished. It's cool to have him watch and have him there, and it's like, oh, okay, this guy that I look up to now has to watch me. So I think that was a little bit of something that also gave me a little bit of a boost of adrenaline and power. So that was cool.
That's a nice experience. I mean, truly, I think it's one of the best stories I have ever heard because it's like who you admire the most. Like
Yeah.
back when I skated like years or centuries ago, I admired Tara Lipinski. So one summer I
Mm.
went to Marlborough, Massachusetts to train, and she was training there that summer. And she just won the Olympics. It was in '98. So I was there and I
Oh
watched,
wow.
and then we shared the ice. And there was this moment where we were doing programs and she watched mine. So I get you. It's like, oh my God, she's watching me. I couldn't even do a triple yet. I was doing doubles, and of
uh,
course, I was an Olympic champion, but I felt like, wow, I'm the best. She's watching me.
yeah.
I know, it's a lot of fun. That's so great. So going back to the pandemic. So after the that season we were talking
Hmm.
about, the pandemic hit in 2020.
Yep.
It was such a complicated year. I mean, so many skaters couldn't skate for months. Maybe,
Hmm.
I don't know, in your case, how many months you had to stay home. But after that, it was so difficult for some skaters to go back on the ice and not feeling afraid, of the jumps and everything, getting back in
Hmm.
shape. So, what was your case in particular?
Yeah. Um, for me, it was really hard just because the I think I was off for 3 months, which is obviously better than what some other people had to go through. So I'm grateful that I was only off for 3 months. But it was hard because when I came back to the ice, I was suffering from different injuries, and obviously mentally I was just very much not in a great place. It was kind of like it's like we train for competitions, so it just felt like this whole season just been one huge training year
Mm,
without competition. So it's hard to set goals when you don't have competitions. So it was tough, but I think now I'm finally getting back into it. So I'm just thankful that I had the ability to train off ice and do some off ice jumps and just try to replicate on ice, although you never can really replicate it completely. I'm lucky that I'm in a situation where at least I have the opportunity to do that, and at least I have my coaches here in the Springs with me that could meet for an off ice lesson or something, and that was a good resource for me, I think.
yeah, totally. So, what would you say was the hardest part for you? Was it not competing and spending the whole year just training? Like you didn't have the motivation to keep going, or what was it?
I think that was the hardest part is that the motivation was just lacking because in a normal season we compete about 6 times internationally and then 8 times total. So when you have those increment competition, it's like, okay, you can slowly start to progress and slowly get better as the season goes on. But alongside with the injury, I just felt like it was constantly pushing me down and constantly just
Yeah.
like making me feel like it definitely forced me to think about why I skate and why I love it and what I want. So that was the hardest part was just not having those competitions.
Yeah, I get it. It was tough. I mean, it's like you said, all the athletes need the competitions to keep going, and you get used to that. I mean, you compete maybe every 2 months, and then of course you have
Mhm.
like the summer break and whatever. But when you don't have that, it's like you don't know what your goal is, because also you don't know. You can't plan anything. You don't know when the next
Yeah.
competition is going to be, if it's going to happen. So it's been a crazy year for everyone. So when this season started, you competed at Skate America because of the pandemic
Yep.
restrictions and all. Every skater had to just compete in domestic competitions. So that was your only international competition for this season, right?
Yes.
So you didn't get great results, but you, like
Yeah.
you said, you were injured and all, and then you went to nationals, so it's been really hard for you the whole season. So what are your thoughts about the whole season from September to today?
Yeah. I think so first off, I think that this season so far has just been not really a reflection of my skating or the place I want to be or maybe should be. But regardless of those thoughts, I think that this season is just a training season, and I'm trying to put this whole season behind me to just focus on next year. I think that next year, since it's Olympic year, I really have a good idea of where I want to go with it and how I want to how I want to progress for next year. I think I have a really good understanding. So I'm really taking this off season just to be really strategic and thoughtful about everything I'm doing and strategic and thoughtful about how I want to get there next year, how I want to achieve my goals next year. Because since going through this season of uncertainty, I think that really did actually train me to think a little more like, okay, this plan doesn't have to be so strict. It's subject to change.
Yeah.
And this next year, I'm really going to try to be more fluid and be more understanding that maybe some competitions will be different, or maybe there won't be some competitions. But I'm trying to find that trying to find the feelings within me to be okay with that,
Mhm.
and to just take anything graciously and take every opportunity to compete, just be really thankful about it. So that's kind of how I feel about this season, is that it really just taught me that next season and any season afterwards, I have to be a little more thankful for the opportunity I have to compete.
Every lesson is like a learning lesson. Everything that happens. So yeah, this was tough. It wasn't only on you. It was tough for like every athlete in the whole world. So maybe some guys could, just skate perfectly. Some guys couldn't, and that's okay. I mean, you learn from everything, and that gives you like an adrenaline rush to keep going and to get better for
Mhm.
the season. So you learn something today, and that will keep you going for the next season. So maybe next season we will see a more perfect Camden, and stronger mentally and physically and everything. So I think that's okay. I mean, that happens. It's the life of the athlete, so it's okay.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's something to be to be noted that I think every single athlete goes through times where they maybe aren't at their best, or they're going through a struggle, and I can honestly say this season has been that for me.
mhm,
So I'm I'm honestly kind of happy that I had the struggle, because I've really learned to accept struggle, because there's really no such thing as just always perfect or always on your best. There's going to be times, like skating is like a roller coaster, right?
yes.
Sometimes you'll be up, and then sometimes you'll be down. And it's really trying to time those up moments that is what's going to lead to the most success. So I think that it's okay to not be perfect. And
Oh
I think
yeah,
it's
totally.
okay to have the seasons or even competitions where you don't skate as well as you'd like to, because it just shows that we're human.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I interviewed Scott Hamilton a few months ago, and he told me that cancer was the best thing that happened to him. So, of course, if someone
Mm.
tells you that, you say, okay, that doesn't sound right. And he told me that cancer and failure and things like that was were the things that helped him to improve, get better, and eventually become an Olympic champion. Because, like he said, if you don't fail, if you succeed at everything, you are not going to fight for anything because everything is okay and it's given. So when you kind of fail, it's like, okay, you say, I don't want to fail anymore. I don't want to be down. I want to keep going and I want to get better. So usually
Yeah.
failure gets amazing results. So let's take this kind of failure. I don't see it as I don't see it as failure, but this bad season. Let's take it like a breaking point in your career, and go from there.
Yeah.
It's
That's
going
the goal.
to be good. And now, talking about this week's World Championships, this is amazing and this is so much fun. So, of course, we want to know about what you think. About these skaters who are competing. I'm sorry about the lighting in my face. The sun is getting like a weird.
Oh, you're okay.
I just can't escape. I don't know what's going on, but I'll try my best. Okay, I'm here. So, let's see. In the ladies' competition, who are your favorites?
Well, obviously Karen is my favorite, regardless.
Yeah, oh, well, of course. Now you're all by
I don't know why.
yourself.
I'm just kidding.
You left you alone. Uh-uh.
I know she did. And it's my birthday on Thursday, so she's leaving me alone on my
Oh,
birthday.
she's gonna have to pay. She
It's okay
really
though.
should have to bring you something from Stockholm. I mean, I know she can't leave
Well,
the hotel, but maybe something from the airport.
no, she'll my her gift to me is her beautiful skating. So
She always
that's
skates
what I'll
beautifully,
take.
and she had such an amazing season.
I know, she's been really good. She trains, she's the hardest worker I know, and she
Yeah.
inspires me every day. So she works so hard. She works probably like probably the hardest at the rink, I think. Well, Vincent and her work really hard, both of them. But I always admire Karen's training, and she always is really dedicated. So she's obviously a favorite of mine. Um,
our ladies, Brady. I hope Brady does well as well. Um, I think, well, Rika Kihira was here, and Rika and I have always been good friends. We kind of went up to seniors at the same time, and we compete at a lot of the same competitions. So I always liked her, and she's always really, really nice to me. So I really hope she does well. Obviously, the Russian girls are all very talented with their jumping. So I think we'll be seeing them in the top five.
I'm sure.
But, I think that it's hard for me to predict because there's not a lot of competitions to go off of.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that the Russians and Japanese ladies will be up near the top, but also I think our US ladies have a good chance of being kind of in that 6th and 7th place, maybe even like 5th. I think that
I'm sure.
our ladies are strong, and I see Brady and Karen both train every day, and they train so hard and do so many clean programs. So I'm really hoping that they do what they train and that they bring home 3 spots for us, because
I
I
really
think we deserve it.
Yeah, you do. Actually, you do. I interviewed Karen a few months ago also, and I was telling her that I admire so much that even when she was, I don't know if she's still in college, but she was in that moment. Oh my God. I mean, she is doing her jumps like she didn't go to school. I mean,
Yeah.
college is not the easiest thing when you're an athlete. And she's jumping
Yeah.
so beautifully. And I was so happy to see her compete after the interview. And she has been like really strong this season, like consistent.
Mhm.
That's amazing. She's beautiful.
Yeah. I think I think she's there to make a splash, and I think she's there to kind of state that she's back and that she's competitive. So
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I
I always love that. So yeah.
and about Brady, of course, let me tell you something. She wasn't before one of my favorite skaters, but after this season, wow, she stole my heart. She's also
Yeah.
skating really strong. I mean, of course, like you said, the Russian girls are talented, and with all the quads, that's tough,
Yeah.
But that's not the only thing. You never know what the judges are going to see because I
Hmm.
like fans around the world think only about quads and they're not thinking about the numbers or the components or whatever. So these world championships are going to be so interesting because we have no
Yeah.
idea of how the judges outside of Russia are going to score them.
Yeah. I think the class of the field for me in skating skills is the Japanese ladies. I always love their basics. They have very great basics with strong backs and good lines. But also our ladies, Brady and Karen, they both are very artistically inclined. I feel like Brady's definitely come into her own and started to become more of an artist over these last few years, which is really great to see. And obviously, Karen's just beautiful. So
Oh my god, I just love that you're so in love. Amazing. I'm gonna write to her and I'll tell her he's so alone. You left
do
him
it.
weeping.
You left him alone.
That's not fair. That's not good. Okay, now you
No, it's
cannot
okay.
leave her alone. So now you have to get your game on because you
I
have to
know.
go with her to all the other competitions.
Yep, to every competition.
Yeah, that should be your inspiration. I mean,
I know.
I
It's
cannot
always
let
a
myself go
motivation.
alone. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, obviously.
And now about the guys. Oh my God, this is going to be huge. I mean, we have Hanyu, we have Nathan, uh, Jason, Shomauno. There's so
Yeah,
many.
I think for the title, I think it's going to be Nathan or Hanyu. I think one of them will take it. I honestly I can't even put one above the other because I think they're both world champion material.
Yeah,
I mean, Hanyu's he's obviously my one of my idols and role models, so
amazing.
I I feel like he deserves to be world champion. But also Nathan, he's one of the most consistent skaters I've ever seen, and
Yeah.
he works really hard and has fantastic technique and is a beautiful skater as well. So I think honestly, if we could cut that medal in half and give it to each of them, that'd be the best choice.
I agree totally. And okay, so we know first and second because they're so obvious. What about the third place? That's hard.
um, I think it's obviously hard. I think it's between like uh Vincent, Mikhail Khoyada, the Russian guy,
Mhm. From I
but
wanna
also the other Japanese skater though, Yuma. I think
Yuma
he's
Kageyama.
that Kageyama. Yeah, he's
He's good.
really good, and I competed against him at Four Continents last year, and I think he's a really great skater, and
Yeah,
he's young, he's new, he's hungry. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being on the podium or at least in the top five. So
yeah,
I think third place is definitely a toss up.
yeah. Like the men competition is so tough right now because there are so many great skaters. It
Yeah.
reminds me, my first work on TV was in Torino 2006. And I
Hmm.
remember that it was the same situation. Of course, we had Plushenko, but then there were Johnny Weir, Stefan Lambiel, Jeffrey Bottle,
Stefania,
Evan Lysacek. Who else? There are so many. I remember that there were like seven skaters who could be.
Laurent Amodio, I think too.
I don't remember
Was he in
who
that
was there.
list?
Maybe. Oh, Brian Joubert. Also,
Oh, yes.
Kevin Van Der Perren. I mean, there is so many. I could count maybe to 7 or 8 skaters who could podium. So it was
Yeah.
like, you know, you didn't know, you couldn't even predict past Plushenko, of course. I mean, it was so crazy. And I think we're in the
Mhm.
same situation here. We have first and second, but the third is kind of difficult to put.
I
They're
think
going to
I think it's hard. I think it's unpredictable, honestly. But another note that a skater I really look up to also is Han Yan. I
yes,
don't know if his technical mark can end him up in the top six, but he's a great skater, and he was one of those skaters that I looked up to as a young man because he's a veteran. So
yeah,
um, I am very really excited to watch him skate because I always loved his skating. I loved his um, maybe his masculinity. I don't know. I love that he made it seem like I love that he brought something new to the table. He didn't follow the same artistry as other skaters, but kind of had his own style of skating. So
yeah.
he's another great skater that I'm really excited to watch.
You know who else? Boyang Ying.
Oh, Bo Yang, yes.
Like
He's
I said,
he's
so
another one.
many, so many. This is going to
So
be.
many. And
Yeah.
then Keegan as well, the Canadian Keegan Messing, he could be up there as
Oh
well.
yeah, of course, of course. This is going to be crazy.
And Jason.
And
Like we
Jason,
have so
so
many.
love Jason. He hasn't answered for an interview, by the way.
I'll text him.
Text
I'll
him.
text him right now.
Yes,
Just
tell
kidding.
him that I want an interview. I mean, you guys on USA are so good.
I think it's just it's a really tough field in the US,
Yeah.
but I think that having a tough field will ultimately make me stronger, and it it just like Scott said, I have to fight for this, and
Yeah.
if it's just given to me, then I'm not really going to appreciate it, and I won't fight for anything. So
Ex-
I although I would love to just go to the Olympics, I'm thankful that I have this challenge, and I'm thankful that these other men in the US will challenge me to be better and
Yes.
force me to be better and force me to work harder and be a better skater in general. So it's a challenge, but it's something I'm willing to take lovingly.
No, and the great thing is that with these challenges, when you retire from the sport, that helps you so much in life. I mean, it's like there's no obstacle big enough for you, like anywhere in the world. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the life of an athlete in general gives you so many great things in life. So that's what I think.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, totally. So now, before I go to the questions from the audience, okay, from pairs competition, maybe I don't know how soaked in you are in pairs,
Mm.
but who are your favorite pairs? Alexa.
I love the Chinese pair team of
No,
Wen Jing and
great.
Kong
I think
Han.
they're going to win.
I hope they do. I mean, I love our American teams, but Wen Jing, Sui, and Kong Han, they've always been that team that's just they've skated like a dancer, jumped like a single skater, but made themselves pair skaters.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing is like they're just the complete package, and they are probably my favorite skaters in the pairs discipline. I really look up to them, and I really think they're great.
You know,
Obviously,
I'm sure that they are going to win next Olympics. I mean, they almost did last time, but the competition was really
almost.
hard. So I
Yeah.
think they're going to get there this next year, and hopefully they will win the worlds too.
Yeah. I think also our US pairs of Alexa and Brandon, they're new, and
Well, they're
again
amazing.
they're hungry because now it's like a refresher for both of them, I think. And now they have new partners. I think that they match really well, and they're hungry. They want to make a statement. So I think they're going to be somewhere in that top 10 place. And same with Ashley Kane Gribble and Tim LeDuc.
They're amazing.
They're really cool, and I think it's really inspiring that they're both pretty tall, because you typically don't see a pair girl that is tall, and it gives hope to younger athletes and the next generation that you don't have to fulfill this certain criteria to be a pair skater. You can be a taller pair skater. That's okay. And I think that that's a really great message that they put out.
Oh yeah, and like just a note that doesn't have anything to do with skating. Well, yeah, it does, but not so much. These guys look so hot together. I mean, Ashley and Cam. Oh my God, I want their bodies. They look
Yeah, they are
skate beautifully.
strong.
I just love them.
Yeah, they're extremely strong, and they look really good. I think they have a really nice package too, and
Yes.
they present themselves well to the audience and the judges. So
Yeah,
I
totally.
hope they do well. Obviously, the Russian teams are all really good as well. So
Yeah, they are. But I think that this year USA has something really strong to fight in the pairs. Really,
yeah,
really hard. Yeah.
I think that this could be our year to get maybe 3 spots, but we'll see. I think that's up to the judges.
This is going to be great because in the Olympics, I think you guys are going to be such a strong team. So hopefully
Yeah.
everything will go as we wish to. So now we have a couple of questions from the audience. Someone is asking, who is your all-time favorite skater?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Okay,
Bring it
all-time
on.
favorite skater. Yuzuru Hanyu. I
Yeah.
think Hanyu is my all-time favorite skater. Patrick Chan, obviously, a really great friend and someone I always looked up to. And Stefan, he choreographed me many times, and
Wow.
he choreographed that program, the short program that I won at Junior Worlds. So many, like I won that. That season I won every international competition with that short. So he
That's
is
like
a fantastic choreographer, and I think that upon working with him, my respect and my love for him has just it's developed, because he's such a great person and a great guy that it's like I want to skate like him one day.
I know he was such a good skater. I mean, he was one of my favorites in Torino, and I remember watching him from the practices before the competition, and I just fell in love with his skating. He was skating 4 seasons, Vivaldi,
Yeah,
Oh,
Vivaldi.
that was so beautiful. I mean, he
Yeah,
literally like flows on the ice.
yeah,
It's so nice, so good. Yeah, I think he's one of my favorites too. So
yeah.
I will have him sometime also here. Favorite skater for Worlds? Well, you kind of said it. Hanyu or Nathan?
Okay. I think I can't pick Hanyu or Nathan. I can't pick. I'm sorry. But I will say Hanyu was someone I looked up to skating. So I always looked up to him as a kid. But I think any discipline, Hanyu for men's, ladies, Karen. But take away Karen, then I would say take away Karen, I'd say Rika. for pairs, Wenjing and Konghan, and for dance, normally I would say Gabby and Guillaume, but
They're not competing.
they are not competing, obviously. So I
Maddie,
think I love Maddie and Evan skating. I just love it. But also, Maddie and Zach are just they're beasts on the ice.
yes.
They are just they are so strong and just such a great team. So I think our US teams will have a lot to prove in the dance discipline, especially with the absence of Gabby and Guillaume. So I think I like I don't know, I like them both. I like both US I like all three US dancers. So definitely US dancers for the dance.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this week nobody's going to sleep.
Yeah.
I know I am not. So let me see if there's something else. Okay, someone is asking, how is it training in Colorado with so many amazing athletes?
How is it? It's tough, I will say. It's awesome that I get to be around these skaters that just work and work so hard and do so many amazing things. But also it gets overwhelming sometimes. I think that sometimes I prefer to have my own space to do things and be on like a private session where I can just train for myself and not worry about anybody else. So sometimes I find that I get a little overwhelmed because Vincent's doing like 80 quads over there, Timoki's doing some quads over there. Karen, Brady, and all the other ladies are doing all their triples and stuff. And I'm just like, I need some space. So sometimes it gets overwhelming, but this is an environment that I would not trade for anything else because I think that training alongside other great athletes will ultimately make me a better athlete. So that's what it's like training here.
That's nice. And okay, someone is asking if you can share in your Instagram more of your practices.
Yeah. So I've become a little more absent on Instagram over these past few months. I think that I want to show more of my training, but sometimes I like to kind of train silently, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know a lot of skaters that post everything they do in practice, which nothing to them, nothing's wrong with that. But for me, sometimes I feel like I prefer to just train silently and not post much about it. And then when I compete, then oh, there it is. So it's not just like everyone's seeing
Like
my skating 24/7.
Price factor.
Yeah, surprise. Like if I would get a new jump, I wouldn't post it until the competition. Then I'll do whatever with it. But I am trying to get better with social media and post more because I used to post a lot, but I think during this next season I'll get a little better when there's more competitions and there's more things to train for.
So have you decided on your programs for next season?
I have.
Are they secret?
Yeah, they're secret for a little bit.
Okay, we'll be waiting. We'll be waiting.
Yeah.
And there's someone who wants to say hi. I don't know if this is going to show. Well, it's supposed to be an emoji, but it's not here. So
3 red hearts of different sizes.
Yeah, emoji. So this guy Joandri is from Chile. He's in all my streamings. So he's like
Oh, really?
a fan of figure skating, one of my loyal followers. So he's always here, and he's saying hugs from Chile.
Hugs from America.
Okay, so these were all the questions for today, but this has been so much fun. Of course, we have to repeat this sometime soon. Maybe you and Karen together sometime.
Yeah.
Before
we'll
next
do it.
season or starting next season. I don't know, somewhere in between those dates, like in August or September or something like that. It would be so much fun to hear about
we'd love
guys
to.
after the break and like starting the new season and now like the strongest season.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Totally. And thank you so much, Camden. This was so much fun. You are amazing. You are like really fresh. And of course, I would love to see you skating much better next season. So this
Yep.
bad moment, just let it by in the past.
It's in the trash.
Yes, please, because you are an amazing skater, and we want to see you like before, and you will do it. I'm sure.
Thank you.
I'm sure you will. So thank you everybody for joining us. Follow Camden on his Instagram. It's right there. And of course, follow me also on my social media. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. We will have another interview this week, so just watch my Instagram or my Facebook page. I will be posting that tomorrow, so you can, join us also there. And after the 2 week break of interviews, of course, I will be having more interviews. And also, I will be posting a video this week about the World Championships. So thank you, Camden, and I will see you soon.
Thank you guys so much.
Take care, everybody. Bye bye. Gracias a todos.